Visit Laitram.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you. Did I check It is New Orleans. Time to get a Friday in the Crescent City. Oh, boy. Fired up, huh? Got a good one lined up for you. Fletcher, Mackel, about 10 minutes away. Fridays with Fletch. We get to decompress on a Friday. Get ready for the weekend. Frank Brigsten coming up in the 5 o'clock powwow. But in between Fridays with Fletch and Frank Brigsten, Michael Hecht's going to join us in about 30 minutes. He's with Greater New Orleans Inc. Hopefully has some good economic news for the metro area. And he's also the lead man for Governor Jeff Landry and New Orleans getting their you-know-what together for Super Bowl 59. Yeah, that bad boy's coming up in February. We're already in October, November, December, January. I mean, what, 120 days away till the Super Bowl? 100-plus days till the Super Bowl? New Orleans has to put its best foot forward. Every Super Bowl, the next one is the biggest one in the history of the game. And this one is going to be a huge opportunity for the Crescent City. They're expecting, this is crazy numbers, 500 plus G5 or larger jets landing at Louis Armstrong International Airport. There'll be a bunch, at Lakefront Airport. 500 plus G5 and larger private jets landing at Lakefront Airport. And there'll be a bunch also landing at Louis Armstrong International, parked out there. But Lakefront Airport is just going to be a big parking lot for jets worth, tens of millions of dollars, approaching $100 million. 500 plus G5 and larger jets expected at Lakefront Airport for the Super Bowl. When you've got those types of folks, that many jets at Lakefront Airport and dozens more out at Louis Armstrong International, we're talking about not rich people, wealthy people, wealthy. We're talking about folks that are worth north of $100 million. North of 100 million. We're talking about dozens and dozens of billionaires. Billionaires. We're talking about CEOs of major corporations. We're talking about Fortune 500 and Fortune 1000 company CEOs, decision makers. And not only nationally, internationally. One of the biggest events in the world. And definitely one of the top 2 or 3 in the United States. So there is a big-time opportunity. We'll talk to Michael Hecht about it coming up in just a little while, in about 30 minutes. No, it's a big opportunity for New Orleans to get in front of these CEOs on our turf. And our turf tends to be not so much like the conference room, but like the music club or the great restaurant, people relaxing, people having fun, selling New Orleans on what it is. We're not Houston. We're not Atlanta. We're the antithesis of those places. Now, I wish we had the booming growth and the cranes in the sky like a Nashville. For us, that was back in the 70s. From around 1972 to around 1987, that 15-year period, the mid to late 70s into the early to mid 80s, we had 25 major office building hotels, high-rise buildings built in the CBD of New Orleans. 25 major office buildings, office towers, and hotel towers built in the city of New Orleans. The modern CBD skyline from 1972 to 1987, including the Louisiana Superdome, the Caesars Superdome. So that was our era of major growth and cranes in the air, like we're seeing like in Austin or Nashville today. No, I wish we had a second boom like they're having right now. They're first, really. Austin's been on a tear for about 20 years straight. Nashville's been on a tear for about 15 years straight. Just tremendous growth in both those metros. And the Houston, Dallas, and Atlantas of the world, they continue to grow. They've been on a tear for 50 plus years. It's insane growth, and it doesn't stop in those places. So we can't compete with that because we're not that. But what needs to be sold to these CEOs and business leaders and decision makers, these Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 folks, these wealthy individuals, what needs to be sold is, you want that? Pick your poison. You know, they're all going to throw out the same deal, and it's a good deal. Great workforce, great opportunity, modern, clean city, good education system, infrastructure in place, low crime, on and on and on. Our crime problem is disappearing. Our violent crime problem is getting resolved as we speak. We are a much safer city. The car drifting, the four-wheelers, the dirt bikes out on the road on Sundays, the carjackings, all that kind of stuff has been tapped down big time. Violent crime, murders and shootings, all of that has been tapped down big time. I don't want to say we've crossed the finish line. You never, ever cross the finish line in a North American city. But I would clearly say New Orleans is not that violent city that it was just 6-8 months ago, going back for years. We've definitely changed. It's a huge plus. No, what we're selling is we're not the cookie cutter city like Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, what Austin and Nashville are becoming. You talk to the folks that have lived in like an Austin or a Nashville for most of their life. A lot of them are disappointed with all the growth and what it's led to, congestion. They love the opportunity to make money. But the congestion, just getting around, is a nightmare. The traffic. A buddy of mine lived in Denver for his whole life. He just moved to Sarasota, Florida, which was ground zero for Milton, because Denver has explosive growth. It's ridiculously crowded. It's hard to get around. It's not the city he grew up living in. So even with all the positives and everyone moving there and the economic opportunity, he beelined out of Dodge. He got the heck out of there. No, you sell New Orleans for our rich culture, our history, our architecture, the European masterpiece. We're not a cookie cutter North American city. There is economic opportunity. Bring it here. We're ready for you. We've got the workforce. We're hungry for it. But you don't have the congestion and the traffic. You don't have all those negatives of the big cities in America with booming growth. No, it's a manageable city that has a very good livability factor. We know how to live. We need help on the Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 stuff. The weekend stuff, the festivals, the party, Mardi Gras, Jazz Fest, French Quarter Fest. We kick butt and take names. That's why the Super Bowl is coming back. Because we put on a Super Bowl like nobody else. And you don't have to drive 45 minutes or an hour across town. One team's not practicing in Laplace, the other in Slidell. That's how it is in these other cities. That's the distance you have to drive. That's what it's like in these other places. No, it's all walkable. The walkability of New Orleans French Quarter, Convention Center, Superdome, CBD, 30,000+, 40,000 hotel rooms. They're all right there, easy, convenient. That's why they're coming. So that's what we sell. We sell our history, our architecture, our culture, our food, our music, the people, the friendly people, the weather, those types of things. And the opposite pitch, we're not those cities. We're New Orleans. Like I said, this European masterpiece, this European gem in America. That's what we sell to these Super Bowl folks. They can, they have to figure out what city they're going to. They're all generic. They're all the same. I could knock someone unconscious, drug them, knock them out in Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, fly them to the other city, put them in a suburb. They'd still think they're in Houston, Dallas, Atlanta, wherever they came from. No, you're in Houston now, not Atlanta. No, you're in Dallas now, not Houston. They'd have no clue. We'll talk to Michael Hecht about that in about 20 minutes. But first, another edition of Fridays with Fletch. Spencer Rattler getting the Saints fans fired up. We'll talk about that and more. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LaBarre by Causeway. Smoothie King.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Yeah, you right. Let's not waste any time. We've only got him for one segment this afternoon. It's another edition of Fridays with Fletch. Fletcher Mackel joins us. What you say, Fletch?
Not a lie, Corey. One segment. How did I luck out? What did I do?
You're supposed to be bummed out, man. We normally go a lot longer.
Yeah, okay, sorry. I'm sorry. You're right. I'm discouraged. Maybe next week we'll catch back up.
A little birdie told me you were whizzing around town today, or your electric bike is back in action.
My electric bike had a flat, and since I ordered it online, most of the bike shops here only fix the bikes that they sell. So I had to find someone who does bicycle repair, because this isn't just like a regular tire. It's got it looks like it's a mini moped here. So
wow.
So I found somebody to fix it, and my bike is back in action, and I did. It was a beautiful day, so I just went and took a long electric bike ride down the Lafitte Greenway, into the quarter, back up Esplanade. It's amazing how beautiful the city is. You know, I mean, really, it does kind of like feed your soul, so to say, you know, kind of going through some of our historic areas.
No, you're so right. The Lafitte Greenway is incredible. What a great linear park. Glad they're extending it.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's fantastic.
Hey, two things. Do you get any exercise on the electric bike?
None. Okay. I have a regular bike, and I'll go jogging from time to time. I bought the electric bike. I can pedal it. I can pedal it straight up, or it's got the pedal enhancer that you can push to get like some help. But it's also got, the one that I bought has got a throttle, and it's a company out of California, and it looks like a moped. It rides like a moped. It goes 20 miles an hour. I put my helmet on, and I basically treat it like a moped. So I did not buy this bike for exercise. This bike is strictly for cruising around on nice days and having fun and being lazy.
It top speed's 20?
20. And I'll say this, it doesn't quite get there. It gets there if I like go over the Wisner overpass and I'm coming down, or out by the lakefront, over the bridge right there by like where Ronnie Lamarck lives on Lakeshore Drive. Sure. If I go over the canals right there and come down, it'll get to like 20, 21, 22. But if I'm on like a flat street, like if I'm going down Orleans, or if I'm going down Allen Toussaint, or if I'm going down, you know, Marconi, then if I literally have the throttle all the way, it's probably like between 17 and 19.
Now, and obviously you wear a helmet, right?
Of course. I mean, I'd be, especially in this city with the way people drive.
Yeah.
Yes. I absolutely wear the helmet.
No, I mean, you say of course, but a lot of people I see on electric bikes, bicycles in general, I mean, pedal bikes, no helmet. I'm like, crazy. I don't know. When I was rollerblading, I haven't done that in like a decade. Helmet, elbow pads, knee pads, bicycle riding, I got a helmet. You got to have a helmet.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, I always have the helmet on. So even if I'm on my regular bike, I wear the helmet. I didn't wear my helmet once last year when I was in a rush and I grabbed it and I just ran out, and my boss at work kind of gave me deservingly some grief. Yeah. And ever since then, I'm like, you know what? Literally the one time I didn't have it on, he gave me some grief, which he should have. And then since then, I've made sure I always wear it.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, Fletch, I always ask you where you've eaten lately. I got a place. I don't know if you've been. I've just been for the first time. It's not, you know, your backyard or my backyard. It's on the North Shore. Have you been to this Gallagher 527, Pat Gallagher's 527?
No, but I do have some friends that live on the North Shore, and I've heard excellent things about it. I mean, obviously, yes. No, so I've not been, but yes, people have told me about it, and they told me it was exceptional.
Do not take your electric bike across the causeway because it only does 20. But beeline over there with girlfriend, date, whatever you're doing, your mom, brother, his wife, whatever. Trust me on this. This place kicks butt and takes names. I recently went there for the first time, sat at the bar with a couple of friends. Outstanding. Just really, really, really good. They've got a variety of great menu items. It's kind of like, I don't want to say it's like a Clancy's menu, but there's like everything on the menu is good. There's like not a bad thing on the menu.
No. So
go check that out.
That's great. I love places like that.
Yeah, me too. I freaked out when I went there. I was like, God, this is good. Had this like crab meat dish that was like from, it says Warren LaRousse recipe. It's fantastic. They had this tenderloin shish kebab. It's like $18. I mean, moderately priced. Gallagher's $5.27 in Mandeville. Really, really outstanding. All right, let's get into it. Everybody's fired up. Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. I haven't seen excitement like this in a long time for a young Saints quarterback that is not getting thrown into a great situation. I mean, look,
nope.
Spencer Rattler, since the day he got here, I tweeted this today after his press conference because he was great with the media today. He was a highly rated kid coming out. He played at 2 major colleges, always said and did the right things. He's got a ton of talent. He's been classy and humble since he got here. I would like to see him have success. Who knows? Maybe this is the next Dak Prescott. This is the next Brock Purdy. This is the next Tom Brady. Let's dream real big. But
let's dream real big like Pat Mahomes. Looks like Pat Mahomes. The headband, the hair sticking up. Looks like Mahomes.
Sure, but like Mahomes was pick 10. I was thinking more of talented guys that weren't, Dak was a 4th-round draft pick. Purdy was a 7th-round draft pick. Russell Wilson was a 3rd-round draft pick. Brady was a 6th-round draft pick. Like, that's the thing to me is, he would fall into that category of sleeper that people passed on. But again, look, the Saints' offensive line is decimated. The Bucs have a veteran defense. He's still a rookie quarterback. But people are excited, and they should be excited. The Saints haven't drafted a quarterback and played a young quarterback this early. And Ian Book got thrown into the fire because of COVID, which was crazy. And he was the 4th guy because of the situation, injuries, and COVID, whereas Spencer Rattler is number 2, now number 1. And people look, he was a highly touted guy coming out of high school. Yeah. You saw flashes in college, even if he never lived up to the Caleb Williams hype of, he lost his position, Caleb Williams. He never led South Carolina to tremendous success. And so, but the talent is there, and I think he's learned every step of the way. So we're going to see. I hope. I don't think I would love to be talking to you next week going, I cannot believe this kid came out and he threw for 350 and 3 touchdowns. But what I'm hoping also is that he doesn't come out and throw for 96 yards with 2 picks. Yeah. I hope somewhere in between he's inefficient and effective, 12 of 17 for 190 yards with a touchdown, and the Saints win a gritty game on Sunday.
Yeah, let's. In a week, you'll be talking about 2 Saints games. Sunday, Tampa Bay in the Dome, and then Thursday night, Sean Payton's return with the Broncos in the Dome, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be Drew Brees going into the Hall of Fame. Thursday night is going to be special with Payton returning. And look, they may be on a 4-game winning streak coming into New Orleans. Payton returning and Brees going into the Hall of Fame. Thursday night is going to be awesome.
Yeah, Denver went 0-2. They've won 3 in a row. The Saints started out 2-0. They've lost 3 in a row. So teams going in opposite directions. Hopefully Rattler gets the Saints on the right track Sunday. First things first against the Bucs at noon. Tulane's off this week, right?
Yeah, Tulane has a bye. They're back in action next weekend, hosting Rice in New Orleans.
Yeah, 2:30 kickoff at Yeoman Saturday. It should be good weather. This weather right now, It looks like it's indefinite for like the next week to 10 days. LSU, Ole Miss, a top 10 matchup with the coaches poll, 10 versus 8. AP, it's 13 versus 9. Regardless, 6:30 Saturday Night Live at Tiger Stadium. Doesn't get much better than this, Fletch.
No, I'll be covering it tomorrow night. I mean, you're right. This is two teams. The winner's going to feel like they truly have a legit shot to win the SEC and get into the playoffs. And the loser's probably going to look at it and think, damn, we need some help.
Yeah.
Because I think when the dust settles this year, there's going to be obviously 11 teams. And because the 12th team is going to be maybe Tulane from that group of 5. But I think 10-2, if you're an SEC team and you go 10-2, I think that's a strong enough push to get you into that top 11. If you're anything worse than that, I just don't see. I don't see how you make an argument for yourself. So Ole Miss has one loss. LSU has one loss. The winner of this game is going to feel like we have a chance now, even if LSU lost to Alabama. And LSU may beat Alabama, but the winner of this game is going to feel and should feel good about where they are, being in a good position.
Fletch, literally about 30 seconds. The big question mark in this game for Ole Miss and LSU, how LSU's defense is going to play.
Yeah, for both. I mean, last year it was defense optional. Last team with the ball wins 55-49. Both defenses are better, but it's going to be, I think, again, which defense is mediocre is going to win this game.
All right, Fletch, we'll check you out next week, hopefully after a couple of Saints victories and a LSU win as well.
Yep, we'll see.
That's Fletcher Mackel, another edition of Fridays with Fletch. Corey Johnson with you, a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Stick around. Michael Hecht joins us next from Greater New Orleans Inc. We'll talk about Super Bowl prep and hopefully some good economic news as well. Boy, the weather, huh? Is this incredible weather we're having? Get outside and enjoy it already. It was like 60s this morning. It was almost cool. Almost needed like a sweater. Coming right back with Michael Hecht.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today, and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City. Corey Johnson back at you. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Hey, Latrim, the global manufacturing giant, is hiring about 1,400 jobs in Elmwood, and all they do is continue to grow and continue to hire people. North Shore folks, you don't have to beeline across the causeway to go to work. There's a Latrim facility right off of I-12 on the North Shore. So they got you covered, East Bank, West Bank, under the UEP Long Bridge in Elmwood, North Shore, off I-12. And it's not 2 or 3 job openings, dozens and dozens and dozens of job openings. Go to Latrim.com for more information. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, Latrim.com. Hey, every week this segment is brought to you by Latrim. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. is with us again. What up, Miguel?
What up, KJ, man? It's that magical time of the year, San Francisco with culture.
Michael, I see you're on a unicycle. There's flames around you. You're juggling 3 or 4 major pins. One's the Super Bowl pin. One's the Greater New Orleans Inc. Economic Development pin. And there's a third pin, Jeff Landry's tax plan. You got to keep the unicycle up. You got to. These pins are on fire. It's a tough gig you got going right now.
Well, we all know how this ends, so we just got to look good doing it.
No, it doesn't end where you collect. It's indefinite. There's no, you get off the unicycle and the pins fall on the ground, and the opposite. We're going to add more pins.
We just keep on going. We're just trying to get what's called more stability from momentum. Just pedal faster. But look, did you see that poll that came out the other day from UNO?
On what topic? The satisfaction of New Orleanians?
On satisfaction with the quality of life in New Orleans?
Yeah, 61% of New Orleanians satisfied with the quality of life.
Yeah, I thought that was fascinating. So a radical improvement in quality of life, no doubt driven largely by the improvement in crime, as well as, the infrastructure stuff and everything else. And then you saw the mayor's numbers are just flat, So there's been this divergence between what people think about what's happening in City Hall versus what they think about what's happening in the city, which is just kind of interesting to observe.
Yeah, 2 years ago, it was 44%. New Orleanians satisfied with the quality of life, 44%. Now it's 61%. So a dramatic improvement. Okay. I'm just curious about. No, go ahead.
There you go.
No, I was going to say I'm shocked about the mayor at 33%. 1 out of 3 New Orleanians satisfied with the job. Who are these people?
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know.
Who are these 1 out of 3? Now, what were you going to say about the big 17-point improvement?
Well, I mean, I think it's definitely crime because we've had a radical improvement in crime. Murders down over 50% from 2 years ago, carjacking 70%, and then I think people see infrastructure improvements. I mean, they're restriping Poydras Street now, and I think that makes people feel like there's progress. And then Taylor Swift and the Super Bowl, and I think that's but what's interesting is that this has all been driven by the private sector, nonprofits, for-profits kind of coming together and make it happen, in partnership or just without what's happening at City Hall. And so I think it's I think it's kind of empowering that we actually have some control over this stuff.
No, I love, obviously the major thing, the violent crime problem, diminishing, going way, way down in a positive way. But also, Michael, there's like a spinoff from that. I don't see the four-wheelers on the street on Sunday. I don't see the drifting, the car drifting, all that crap. So even the minor kind of menacing BS type crimes, those are going bye-bye too.
Yeah, that's right. And you got to give credit to NOPD, but you also got to give a lot of credit to Troop NOLA. So those guys are out here and they are making a major behind the scenes difference. They're like the A team, and they're going after the bad guys and they're going after the nuisance, and they're doing traffic stops and they're finding guns that were involved in homicides. They are extremely qualified, extremely enthusiastic about what they're doing. A big credit to Troop NOLA, too.
No, I had a caller one time. I was talking about everything you just said, and they're like, what do you think? The criminals watch your show or listen to your show or watch the news? I'm like, no, it doesn't matter. I'm talking about it or not for the criminal. The criminal's talking to the other criminal going, dude, you better not go commit that crime. There's a police presence now in the city.
That's right. The word gets around. I mean, and so what Troop NOLA can do that NOPD cannot under the consent decree right now is they can actually pursue, because here's the thing. The bad guys generally want to get away. They don't actually just sit there and wait for themselves to be cuffed.
Yeah.
So, another reason why getting on a sustainment with this consent decree and getting out of it is a big deal.
No, there's no doubt about that. But also, though, it's like a catch-22. I had Skip Gallagher on, that UNO professor. There's still a bunch of NOPD, with this payroll fraud gimmick, and not just like the Morell brothers. He says there are at least 32 NOPD that are making $250,000 a year. And it's payroll fraud. You're on the clock at NOPD. They're on the clock on a detail. The crazy thing, Michael, you and I have a business. We hire a detail cop. He doesn't show up. We're still paying him. That needs to be looked into. Where is that money going? I mean, what business owner pays a detail when they're not coming? There's some kickback or something going on. But, yeah, I want the consent decree to go away, but Ann Kirkpatrick does too, but they got to clean up this payroll fraud problem.
Yeah, and all this stuff, and none of it ever goes away. You got to be vigilant forever. But I think we're getting things back down to a more manageable level. We're never going to be Singapore, and that's probably a good thing. But Ann Kirkpatrick, first time she talked to us, she said, Michael, we just have to be brilliant at the basics. And I think that's a laudable goal, but I'd be good with us just being basic at the basics, right?
Yeah.
If we were able to get to a solid B level, man, I mean, the sky's the limit.
No, I talk about this all the time on the show. Like when the interstate in New Orleans East coming in from Mississippi was just awful, and then we fixed it. No one drives on it and goes, wow, the interstate's so smooth here from out of town. It's just normal. But when it's bad, it's like, my God, the interstate in New Orleans is terrible. So, yeah, getting back to normal is acceptable around here. That's for sure.
Yep, no doubt at all.
Hey, Michael, economic news, anything happening right now that we missed in the last week or two, economic news, and anything on the horizon? I saw something, what was it, some plant expanding. It was small, like 5 jobs added. Something I think in auto manufacturing, automotive, something. I forget what it was.
Yeah, there was a company that makes parts for an auto manufacturer up in Tangi that expanded. There are a couple of really major deals that should be coming on down the pike before the end of the year. Did we talk about the food and beverage accelerator?
Yeah.
That was a nice one.
Yeah, that was nice.
And then, on the governor's tax plan, we're just waiting to see the details, frankly, because on one hand, we've been asking for tax reform for a long time. We need it. Our tax code is a mess. It's complicated. It's got really perverse taxes in it, like the franchise tax, which is a tax for the privilege of doing business, or the inventory tax, which is a tax on the components that go into making things. We got to get rid of those things. But the plan, as I currently understand it, also involves things like getting rid of the historic rehab credit, which is the whole reason that downtown New Orleans and places like the Four Seasons were able to be built. So I just want to see the details so we can do the reform that we need, but, do it in a responsible way and not throw out the baby. So that's kind of where we're going with that.
Hey, Michael, let's end it on a positive note. Super Bowl's about 120 days away or so?
121 days.
500 plus G5 or larger jets expected at Lakefront Airport. That means not rich people. That means wealthy people. Fortune 500, Fortune 1000, CEOs, decision makers. When you get in front of these folks, it's on our turf. At a restaurant, music club, they're going to be laid back. They're going to be receptive. We got to sell New Orleans on, we're the antithesis of Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, Austin, Nashville. You want to get away from the traffic. You want to get away from the ridiculous growth. You want to get away from all the glut and, poor planning. And you want a city that's easy to get around, a city that's welcoming, great people, great music, all the stuff we do on the weekend, the festivals, Jazz Fest, French Quarter Fest. New Orleans is your place.
Yeah, no, that's right. I was actually talking to folks visiting from New York yesterday, and they said, New Orleans, they said, man, there's no place that has this authenticity. And they were from New York. They were just loving it. So the Super Bowl is an unmatched opportunity to market to decision makers. And while we're trying to have a great Super Bowl, we're really actually pushing for the next convention, the next business expansion, the next vacation. It's a full-on marketing push. So the game matters, but the infrastructure improvements and the future businesses and conventions and other folks that are coming to spend their money in New Orleans, that's the real point. So we'll see the benefit from a good Super Bowl for a decade afterwards.
Michael, lastly, I would say get out and recruit all these affluent people, bunch of uptown people, a bunch of folks that went to these Ivy League schools, a bunch of these folks that know these CEOs and decision makers that are coming in town. They got to get in front of their friends and sell New Orleans and get us some jobs.
Yeah, no, that's right. This is about changing the narrative, and that's also why now the national news picking up on our improvement in crime is so important. It's about, having that when people mention New Orleans, the first thing they say is, man, I love that place. I love the culture. I love the food, whatever, Kelsey, whatever he had to say, and not, that place is dangerous, don't go there.
No,
it's
exactly.
About getting the right narrative.
No, totally. About our culture, our history, our architecture, the European masterpiece, the French Quarter. Miguel Hecht, always a pleasure, brother. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, KJ. I'll talk to you soon, man. Enjoy the weather.
That's exactly. So nice. There's another selling point. Michael Hecht with us from Greater New Orleans. You heard him. 121 days till the Super Bowl. Holy smokes. Stick around. Fantasy Friday. A lot more coming your way.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District. Honestly, who's got time for this kind of stuff? I got a little printing project going on. So I call the FedEx Dome on veterans. And let's see how long it takes literally till I get in touch with a human being. Check this out. It's nauseating. You think someone just pick up FedEx Dome? Can I help you?
Thank you for calling FedEx office. Please choose from the following options.
Wow.
To speak to a representative about status of a shipment, delivery information, or claims, press 1.
Nope.
For last pickup time for FedEx Express and FedEx Ground, press 2.
Nope.
For our fax number, directions, store hours, or our web address to place an order online, press 3.
Nope.
To speak with a team member for questions or for information about the products and services provided at this location, press 8.
Wow. 1, 2, 3, and 8. And I got to listen to all that. That's 40 seconds in. Who's got time for that? Might actually get a human being.
Thank you for calling FedEx office located in Metairie. This is Nick speaking. How can I help you today?
Hey, Nick. How late are y'all open today?
We're open until 8 p.m. Are you calling in for shipping or printing?
A printing project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're open until 8 o'clock today.
Thank you, Nick.
Anytime.
Wow, that was fast, and that took about 90 seconds. Just unbelievable. 1, 2, 3, 8. And you got to listen through all the other ones to get to it. Just aggravating. What happened to customer service? At least Nick's a nice guy, but geez, Pizza Parlor, Greg Brady. Hey, Marcia. Corey Johnson with you on a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Is automation the absolute worst? If you have a Google problem, call Google customer service. Oh, wait, it doesn't exist. There's not even an 800 number for Google customer service. Does not exist. How mind-blowing is that? I'll tell you what's old school. You call them, they answer, and if they don't answer, they get back in touch with you quickly. I'm talking about Total Maintenance. Weekday, weekend, overnight, holiday. Total Maintenance is there. If you need air conditioning help, soon you might need heat help. Fair and Honest, Lucas and the boys are there for you. I don't know about you. I don't want to learn about air conditioning and heat. I just want someone I can unequivocally trust. Fair and Honest, Lucas and the boys, Total Maintenance. I've been with them for about 20 years now. Love these guys. If ever I have an air conditioning or heating problem, they solve it quickly. Last time I had an AC problem was about a year ago. Lucas diagnosed it over the phone, and I'm not kidding you. No, they've got about 30 plus techs, hundreds of years of combined experience. So when you have a problem, they diagnose it right. They're not replacing parts, trying to figure it out. Air conditioning and heating experts that are honest, and they come immediately because you're stressed out. They're in New Orleans. They're in Baton Rouge. Think Total Maintenance, tm-ac.com. That's all you need to know. TM, Total Maintenance, tm-ac.com. You need air conditioning or heat help, tm-ac.com. Sterling reputation for 40 plus years in New Orleans, in Baton Rouge. Think Total Maintenance. It is a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Fired up for the 5 o'clock powwow. In about 15 minutes or so, we'll go to the Riverbend area, my neighborhood, my favorite neighborhood. I think the best neighborhood in New Orleans. It's like its own little town because it used to be a town. The town of Carrollton used to be in Jefferson Parish. Orleans Parish, I don't know, 100 plus years ago, annexed it. That old Ben Franklin school, now like a retirement home, which is a waste of space for a retirement home, by the way. Right there, that was the old city hall. Down the block on Maple Street was the old mayor's house. All that stuff's still there. One of the oldest houses in Uptown's on Maple, right there, like Maple and maybe Cherokee, I think. Not Adams, I think Cherokee. Anyway, no, I love this little town of Carrollton, the Carrollton neighborhood, the Riverbend, Oak Street, Willow Street, Maple Street. I mean, it's incredible. We're going to go to Dante Street in a little while, and Frank Brigtson's going to join us. Now, there's a line in Caddyshack where, geez and Pete's, Rodney Dangerfield's like, biggest waste of space, golf courses and cemeteries. You know, he's like a builder. Lambeth House, Broadway at River Road. It's a waste for that to be a retirement building. All those balconies, elderly folks don't go out on the balcony. They're not enjoying the balcony. Assisted living, you should have it just like in a pine forest somewhere, off the beaten path. And I'm not trying to be critical. I think that old Ben Franklin School, what they did with that assisted living, the two buildings on each side of the old city hall is incredible. It's a multi-million-dollar build. It's beautiful. But those elderly folks aren't leaving the facility and going to Oak Street or Maple Street or the Riverbend or walking over to Brightson's. They're just not doing it. They're not sitting outside. They're not sitting on the balcony. No, it should be like condos and apartments. So you have young people, younger than me, like college graduate types, folks that just moved to New Orleans, live in New Orleans, graduate from college, have a job living there, and it makes that whole thing more active. But I don't know. I don't know why we put retirement communities like the old Vista Shores right on Bayou St. John. They're not going out on the bayou. They're in assisted living. They're just staying put in the building. What's that, Blue Boy? My idea of assisted living, a dogs and cat facility like a shelter and child daycare, all within the same place, different wings. A brilliant idea. Everyone wins. You're right, Blue Boy. You're right. The elderly with kids, influencing the kids with pets. Everyone wins. It is a great idea. Stick around. 5 o'clock powwow next.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at Nola Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood. Dave Miette.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see. What about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became number one for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all of the time.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Fired up about that, huh? Let's go to La Jolla, number 9, Drew Brees. It is indeed New Orleans, Louisiana, and it is a Fantasy Friday. Are you kidding me? The weekend is upon us. I love this very moment of the week. A little bit after 5 o'clock. 100% of the work week for most of us in the books. 100% of the weekend in front of us. Smell the roses. I like this little limbo period we're in. No, the work week's done. The weekend's in front of us. I like putting a spotlight on this very moment. The 5 o'clock whistle. Toot, toot. Work is done. Weekend's in front of us. Appropriately brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City, as New Orleans as it gets. A Mid-City mainstay serving New Orleans specialties, old school, big portions, great for sharing. A taste of New Orleans. Like Scott Craig, owner, operator, head chef says, more is better. More of the good things. They got you covered at Katie's in Mid-City. You won't be disappointed. The quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. USA Today, the nationwide newspaper, they had top 10 restaurants that you must visit when you're traveling to New Orleans. And it wasn't about, the highest end top 10 stuff. They had a hodgepodge of all kind of stuff, the expensive stuff, the po' boy shop, the stuff in the middle, all of it. Katie's was on that list. Katie's in Mid-City was on USA Today's top 10 must-go-to restaurants because you get the real New Orleans flavor. It's not Bubba Gump Shrimp Company. It's for tourists like to experience real New Orleans where the locals go. I used to go visit my buddy in New York. He lived there like 20 years. We're not going to Carnegie Deli. We're not going to the Statue of Liberty. We're not going to the 86th floor of the Empire State Building. I said, man, we did all that like in the beginning. After about a trip or two, I was like, I just want to do what you got to do. You got to go pick up dry cleaning. I'll go with you. Let's just do the local stuff. We go to Central Park, sit on a bench, watch people go by, throw the Frisbee, toss the football around, whatever. Go get some great meals, good slice of pizza, some good food, steak, Chinese, Italian, Middle Eastern. We do all kind of stuff, but nothing touristy. I told him, don't put an effort forth like Corey's coming to New York. Let me do something special for him. Let's just do your thing. I always had great trips. No, going where the locals go, not the touristy spots. Carnegie Deli. I don't want to go there. No, Katie's is where the locals go. And that's why USA Today, a savvy writer that knew what he was talking about, was like, you got to go to Katie's. Yeah, the 5 o'clock whistle appropriately brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. Look, we all might be in an assisted living home one day. So last hour, don't take it so personal, but it is a waste where we put them in prime locations like Lambeth House, that big tower on Broadway, River Road, Leak Avenue, whatever, right on the river. Fantastic views of the river. People in assisted living don't go out on the balcony. Tell me if you've ever driven by Lambeth House in there. The elderly folks are out on the balcony. They're not. And they're with me on this. They don't want to do that. That's why it's like travel while you're young. Do things while you're young. Don't sit in front of the TV now because you'll be doing that later when you get older because you're not going to want to do other stuff. It's just a natural progression of life. Now, I mentioned the assisted living on Bayou St. John, the old Vista Shores, right on the bayou. Never do I see elderly people out on the bayou enjoying being on the water. That Carrollton, the old courthouse, assisted living in the River Bend. I love what they did to the Ben Franklin old school, the old city hall. I love the 2 additions on each side, the balconies, all of it. It's beautiful. It's a multi-million-dollar redo. It is fantastic. It should be young people going in and out of there all day, all night, apartments and condos, college graduates, young people 25 to like 40. That should be the demographic for not 80 plus. They're not out on the balconies. They're not in the front yard. They're not walking over to Brigsten's to eat. They're not crossing the street going to Baskin Robbins to get an ice cream cone. They're staying put because that's what assisted living's all about. No, it's we've got it backwards. Put those anywhere. They don't need to be in the prime locations because folks in assisted living aren't taking advantage of the balcony or the bayou or the convenience of the Riverbend Carrollton neighborhood. I don't know. That's my 2 cents worth, and it's worth about 2 cents. No, the thing that I do think is a brilliant idea, and I do have to pat myself on the back on this. Assisted living have all different kind of wings. It could be like, brain care. It could be something where like the husband or the wife needs a little help and they're going to live together there. So it's like a condo, like the least amount of assistance. One, it might have nursing care 24/7, all different levels. So you still have that, like one wing is assisted living. One wing is the shelter for that city, the animal shelter. So the cats and dogs that are in the shelter waiting to be adopted, they get brought in and the elderly get to have a cat on their lap or a dog by them and they get to know the dog or the cat. And there's a great, it's stress relief. It's great for the elderly folks, great for the animals. Then you also have like child daycare, early learning, like pre-nursery school type stuff on one wing. So the kids and the elderly are interacting. The kids are getting priceless, education when they're 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. 1 through 4 is supposed to be like the most informative years for a child. If I had a kid, I'd be playing like Beethoven and Mozart, and I'd have like somebody teaching them another language, speaking that language all the time. And obviously I'm going to be speaking English around them. 0 to 4. From birth to like 4 or 5 years old. You have like, retirement community right there, elderly, assisted living, and their brains being active because they're talking to a kid and the kid's winning, the elderly person's winning, the dogs and cats are winning. So that's my big idea on a Fantasy Friday, a 3-pronged approach to assisted living. Child daycare, pre-nursery school type stuff even, and the animal shelter, cats and dogs, and the elderly folks being able to interact with the kids and the animals being able to be around the elderly folks, getting petted, getting loved on, and the kids and the elderly, everyone wins. The elderly are staying mentally sharp because they're around these active kids, and the kids are learning from grandma, grandpa, the elderly, Anyway, that's my idea, and that one's, I think, worth more than 2 cents. We had Michael Hecht on a little while ago. Super Bowl's 121 days away. Over 500 G5 and larger jets will be at Lakefront Airport. That means not rich people, wealthy people, CEOs, Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 folks. It is a great opportunity for Greater New Orleans Inc., the city of New Orleans, the business community to sell these folks on coming to New Orleans. But I took it up a level with Michael last hour. We have so many folks, Uptown, Old Metairie, affluent people that went to Ivy League schools that might have been roommates with, these CEOs and business leaders. They had a woman that was at Yale, and she was Michelle Obama's roommate, and went to Yale and said, I'm not used to living with black people. Can my kid get in another dorm? And they said no. I think where that woman would be today if she would have hung with Michelle Obama instead of being, worried about race. But that's a whole other story. The point is, there's so many New Orleanians, black and white, with wherewithal that went to high-end schools that know these CEOs and decision makers. We need to get like a few hundred of them that will volunteer, and not only volunteer their time, but come forward with, I know so-and-so well. And so-and-so's coming in from the Super Bowl, and so-and-so runs that Fortune 500 company and is the decision maker. And they need to take them to Commander's Palace or Bayona or Irene's or whatever restaurant, Maple Leaf, whatever music club. Get these CEOs relaxed, get them back with their college buddy who they're still friends with, and have them sell New Orleans. Give us 10 jobs, 50 jobs, 100 jobs. We're the opposite of these booming cities with traffic problems and congestion and growth problems. We're a city that's easy to get around, architecturally, historically significant, a European masterpiece, a lot of culture and richness right here. No, that's the selling point. We got to get these Fortune 500 jobs. Coming right back with Frank Brigsten.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future. At the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, fuller part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LaBarre by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Yeah, you right. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson back at you. So is Frank Brigsten from his restaurant in the Riverbend. What's happening, Frank?
Corey, TGIF!
Holy smokes. Thank goodness, huh? How about this weather?
Oh, man, what a beautiful Friday it is, too, huh?
God, doesn't get much better than this, Frank. And supposedly for like the next week.
I'll take it.
Yep. This morning it was almost cool. You almost needed like a sweater at 6, 7, 8 a.m.
I had a flannel shirt on at 6 a.m.
I'm telling you. And then, you took it off in about 90 minutes later. It was perfect.
I took it off at 6:30.
Yeah, I'm telling you, warmed up pretty quick, but it didn't get hot. It was a gorgeous day.
Very mild, blue skies, just fabulous, man. Loving it.
Yep, no doubt. What's cooking, literally and figuratively?
Well, what I'm excited about right now, Corey, is one of our seasonal bread puddings. This is a new one. It's a pumpkin spice bread pudding. And it's got all the things you might imagine except a latte. But I thought about that too. But canned pumpkin, of course, because as many times as I've tried to cook fresh pumpkin, it's terrible. So canned pumpkin with cinnamon, nutmeg, a touch of allspice, folded into a very light and fluffy bread pudding custard, a little condensed milk in there, and then I make a pumpkin sauce for it too. Similar, canned pumpkin, cinnamon, nutmeg. Let's see what else. Oh, a simple syrup. I make a simple syrup with the spices in it and the sugar.
Yummy.
And then fold in the canned pumpkin, and it's all pureed and everything. It's just a nice, wonderful thing. And we'll run that through Halloween. And by the way, we will be open for Halloween. So come see Brigsten's. Come get an early dinner. By the time you get done, it'll be dark, and you go home and have a trick-or-treat party.
Yeah, no tricks at Brigsten's, only treats.
Yep. You don't have to whip out the barbecue for the neighbors or anything. Come have a quick early dinner and then go have some fun, man.
I love your honesty, like canned pumpkin. We've had this discussion before. I've been to places like homemade ketchup, and I'm like, boy, it tastes funny. I'm used to Heinz. Homemade Worcestershire sauce. Why did you waste the time? Lee and Perrins is fantastic. I mean, I used to make this barbecue sauce from scratch, and honestly, Frank, it was labor intensive, and now I just get like a basic, like a decent, nothing flavored, like a KC Masterpiece or one of these brands that's like not the bottom of the line, but not something that's top of the line that has their own flavor. And then it's got the molasses and the vinegar and all the stuff that I would be doing. And then I just add the light brown sugar, cayenne, black pepper, the lemon juice, stuff like that, ketchup. Heinz ketchup into that barbecue sauce. So it was sort of a waste of my time to, the taste difference was negligible if I could even taste the difference at all. So homemade ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, kind of a waste of time for a restaurateur, right?
Yeah, I think so. And, I have a killer homemade barbecue from scratch sauce.
And I love it, man. But, I'll just as soon grab a bottle of Casey Masterpiece or Sweet Baby Ray's. They're very good products, too. The key to the barbecue is in the technique, right?
Yep. And then you just jack up that Sweet Baby Ray's or Casey Masterpiece. You could grill some onions to start, go and build it from there. But yeah, I just don't see the point of, spinning your wheels, doing all that stuff when it's negligible. My recipe's really good too, but I can knock it out in about, a third of the time by not doing all the other stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, realistically, if you buy a pumpkin for Halloween, maybe you want to try baking it or something instead of throwing it away. That's one thing, but I'm not going to go buy fresh pumpkins to make this pumpkin spice bread pudding.
No, exactly. My grandmother used to take the pumpkin seeds and put them in a skillet and, mix them around with salt and make pumpkin seeds, and it was great. It was great, but, you can just go get a bag of David sunflower seeds and it's pretty similar.
We're lazy in our old age, aren't we?
Well, I mean, it's I guess, so it's just sort of, if your grandmother's not doing it, it's kind of a waste of time. Then you go out of town like some Florida trip or you got a lot of time on your hands, might be a different story. You'll take the time and do it. But, regular life, it's sort of pointless. I'm not going to make my own ketchup, Frank.
Right. But that's a good point. I mean, when you carve your pumpkin for Halloween, you're doing that a day or two ahead anyway. So save those seeds and make pepitas, just like you said. Put them in a skillet or a baking pan, toss them a little sea salt or something.
Yep.
And they're wonderful snacks for your trick-or-treat party, for that matter.
No, you're right about that.
Yeah. So we're celebrating spooky season with pumpkin spice bread pudding. Otherwise, we're still a little short on fish, mostly due to the Hurricane Helene and the way it impacted the East Coast fisheries. We'd normally be getting a fall run of speckled trout from North Carolina, but those poor folks, they would love to get back to work, but it's going to be a little while. So anyway, we go with what we have, redfish and striped bass and a little bit of yellowfin tuna we're using, grilled redfish with smoked corn sauce, chipotle black bean salsa and avocado sour cream. We've been selling a lot of duck this week, man. Roast duck with dirty rice and pepper jelly glaze. And for that, in typical Frank fashion, it's not as simple as it seems. We do not go buy the pepper jelly. We make our own. And I make this really nice, kind of sweet, pretty spicy with jalapeno pepper jelly. I use cranberry juice and water and sugar with it, so it has a little fruit background to it. And then we roast the ducks the old school way for 3.5 hours till they're crispy.
Wow.
And the fat is rendered out. And then we take the ducks out of the roasting pan, and you have all this brown sticking on the bottom of the pan. We deglaze that with duck stock we made the day before. Scrape it, cook it down, and it's like duck demi-glace.
Wow.
And we use that for the sauce. We caramelize some onions and carrots and bell pepper in duck fat. Add that rich duck stock, pan drippings, and finish it with a little pepper jelly. Thicken with a little cornstarch, and that's the sauce for our roast duck right now with the dirty rice. I've gotten 2 or 3 compliments on our dirty rice this week. I have, our regular customers that come every week. They don't want vegetables. They don't want mashed potatoes. They want a double-side order of dirty rice, and that's every week, no matter what the dish. And I had another customer say this was the best he's ever had, and another customer said this is better than Chef So-and-so's. So, it's just one of those things. I'll keep making it all day long.
What's the dirty part of the dirty rice? Is it beef, giblets? What is it?
Well, that's a great question, Corey, because classically it's made with giblets, the gizzards and livers from the chicken. And I used to make it, with duck giblets, the duck gizzards and livers, which come with the birds, because we buy whole ducks. But I got away from the gizzards because they're just It's hard to deal with. I used to grind them in a meat grinder, and there's just too much tendons and stringiness. And so anyway, I switched to ground beef. So we use ground beef and ground duck livers is the dirt part of our dirty rice.
Wow.
And I have a special cast iron pan. It's rectangular, probably 3 feet long by 1.5 feet wide. And we make the dirty rice base in there. We start on top of the stove, caramelize Trinity vegetables and duck fat. Brown the meat and then caramelize Trinity vegetables. And then at the very end, we put it in the oven, bake it so it gets really brown and kind of crispy, crunchy on top. And then we fold in the livers for the last few minutes of cooking time. So that's what we call our dirty rice base. And one thing we do that's unique is we don't cook the rice in that base and then try and serve it to you 2 hours later because it would be mushy. So we keep that dirty rice base in our steam table, and we mix it with fresh rice to order.
Wow.
When you order the roast duck, we mix your dirty rice to order with a little parsley and green onion, so it's nice and fresh.
Nice. Hey, with the Trinity, bell pepper, celery, onions?
Correct.
Wow. That's the way to go. That's New Orleans as it gets. Hey, Frank.
We do a lot of chopping.
Yep, no doubt. Any openings tonight or tomorrow night at Brigsten's?
You know, Corey, I would definitely give a call if you're interested in our second seating, which is the 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30 seating. And that's every night. Post-pandemic, people are definitely eating earlier. 5:35, 5:30, 6 o'clock, that's our busiest turn, and that sells out quick. But if you want to come a little later, we almost always have openings for that second seating. So if you want 7, 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30, give Mona a call. She's on the phone right now.
Tuesday through Saturday night, 5 p.m. to 8:30, Brightson's in the Riverbend. 861-7610's the number. 861-7610. Frank, always a pleasure, brother.
Same here. Thank you, Corey. Talk to you next time.
Yep, talk to you next time. That's Frank Brigsten, Carrollton section Uptown, Dante Street, right off Leak Avenue. As good as it gets. And I'm telling you, for what you're eating, moderately priced. Brigsten's is so good. Corey Johnson with you, Fantasy Friday.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com. Your cool spot. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
At Helm Paint and Decorating, our paints are in it for the long haul. In fact, our top Benjamin Moore exterior paints come with a lifetime warranty. Not 25 years, not 50 years, we mean forever. You heard right. At Helm Paint, our top exterior paints have a lifetime warranty against chipping, peeling, and flaking. They also are mildew resistant. Imagine painting your home one time and being done with it. Visit any one of our locations today and make that once-in-a-lifetime purchase. Paint that has a lifetime warranty. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City. Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
It's my best George Porter imitation. Corey Johnson back at you, a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Thanks so much for joining us. I love getting Frank Brigsten on the show every Friday around 5:20 or so, visiting with him for 10, 12, 15 minutes, just talking food, We don't script anything. What you got cooking, Frank, and we just kind of go from there, you know? And it's easy because, you know what I love about Frank besides, I mean, he's as good as it gets. Brigsten's is as good as it gets. He's a James Beard award-winning chef. His restaurant could be in any food city anywhere in the world, and it would be one of that food city's best restaurants. The guy is so humble, so nice, so laid back, so friendly. You know, just acts like he's sort of like fledgling or something, not this accomplished chef for 50 years, 38 at Brigsten's. Learned under legendary Ella Brennan at Commander's Palace. Learned under Paul Prudhomme. The story of Brigsten's is great. Worked for Paul Prudhomme at K. Paul's in the Quarter. He became his sous chef, his number 2 under Paul. And then Paul was like, Frank, it's time you go on your own and start your own restaurant. And Frank's like, you know, I've been thinking about that. And Paul Prudhomme had so much confidence in Frank that he said, I'll fund the restaurant. I'll be the bank. You go pick out the place. You get the equipment you need. I'll front you the money, and you can just pay me back over time like you would a bank. So Paul Prudhomme invested in the original Brigsten's. He got Brigsten's going. And it's 38 years later. 38 years later. It's Frank Brigsten, his wife, and his wife's 2 sisters. Truly a family affair. And just great staff that works there. They're not like intrusive, but they're informative, knowledgeable. No, I love Brigsten's. As good as it gets. And like I said earlier, priced right. I'm glad Frank's not listening. I own Brigsten's. I'm jacking up every appetizer by like $3 to $6. Every entree, I don't know, $5 to $10 higher in price. It's sort of a bargain for what you're getting at Brigsten's. Tuesday through Saturday night. They might have some openings tonight and tomorrow night. 861-7610. Brigsten's in the Riverbend, which happens to be my favorite neighborhood. I love that Carrollton neighborhood. So nice over there. It really is. So convenient. It's like its own little town. There's so much stuff everywhere in that neighborhood. If you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you missed Fridays with Fletch. Fletcher Mackel joining us. Tulane is off this week. Then next Saturday, a week from now, 8 days away, 2:30 kickoff against Rice at Yeoman. The weather should be fantastic. I know it's 8 days out, but go to weather.com and look at what we got coming this week. Just absolutely fantastic weather all week long. No chance of rain. This morning it was like 65. On the North Shore, even colder. But like 65 in New Orleans. And then it just creeped on up to about 80, but low humidity, so it wasn't hot. Just beautiful weather. We're expecting the same. Next week, it looks great. The next 5 days, we wake up to in the 60s, and then the highs around 80 degrees with low humidity. And then like this Wednesday, fading into the weekend, 50s in the morning. We're dipping into the 50s like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And the highs are in the 70s, low to mid 70s. So we just have fantastic weather and no chance of rain. Get outside and enjoy it. Drop some coals, light up the gas, grill some steaks, some seafood, pork chops, ribs, chicken, whatever. Pick your poison. Throw it down on the grill tonight. Get outside. Enjoy this outdoor weather. Dine outside like Lebanon's Cafe. Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn. Outdoor dining at Lebanon's Cafe. Yeah, under the green awning, under the oak trees, right on the streetcar line, where Carrollton Avenue is one lane, in between Claiborne's and the Riverbend, Lebanon's Cafe. So good. So good. Yeah, we had Michael Hecht on in the 4 o'clock hour talking about some economic opportunity. He says he has some big announcements coming in the next few weeks. You'll always hear it here when we get Michael on. But also we were talking about the Super Bowl, which is 121 days away. 121 days till Super Bowl 59 at the Superdome. A huge opportunity for the Crescent City. Every Super Bowl is bigger than the last. This will be the biggest Super Bowl of all time. coming up in 121 days right here in the city of New Orleans. And we do it best. I remember the old Philadelphia Eagles owner, like a few owners again, not Laurie, but Norman Brayman. He said the Super Bowl should be in New Orleans every year. Now, I used to do sports talk. That's how I got into talk radio for about the first dozen years or so, 15 years, about 13 years of my 32. So the first third, basically, the first 40% was sports talk radio. So I had the opportunity to cover some Super Bowls in other cities. It's work going to a Super Bowl in another city. You know, a lot of places like Houston, Dallas, Atlanta, Phoenix, I mean, you name it, Miami, San Diego, Los Angeles. The best way I can describe it is it's like the NFC team is practicing in Laplace. The AFC team will have coaches meetings in Slidell, and you've got to drive to those things. So you're staying in New Orleans. You got to drive to Laplace to go to the AFC team's practice, and then you got to go all the way to Slidell for the coaches meeting of the NFC like 2 hours later, and it might take you 2 hours in Miami or Los Angeles or San Diego. New Orleans is the opposite. The Superdome, the French Quarter, the CBD, the Convention Center, about 40,000 hotel rooms. They're like all within like a square mile and a half of each other, all within walking distance of each other. No, New Orleans is tight, compact, easy for Super Bowl folks. No, and then the restaurants are world class. The music venues are world class. The bars are world class. We've got a lot of great stuff like the World War II Museum. You know, just it's tough to beat. It really is. It's the premier spot to host a Super Bowl. I remember Detroit. They built a new stadium, so they got a Super Bowl. That's fine. They had a fake French Quarter, like literally it's the New Orleans French Quarter. They just like made one up, like because that's what people want. Detroit had to just come up with that. We got the real McCoy. No, Norman Brayman, the old Eagles owner, this is like 30 years ago. Super Bowl should be in New Orleans every year. He was right. I have that. It's Fantasy Friday, so I'll throw it out there. You get like a new city. They build a new stadium, a wild card city. You get Florida, either Tampa or Miami. You get California. It used to be San Diego. They don't have a team, but San Fran Metro or Los Angeles. And then you got a rotation of all those other cities like Dallas, Atlanta, Houston. Those cities, they can rotate. Phoenix. And then every fifth year, New Orleans. So Florida, California, the city that's building a stadium, the Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, Phoenixes of the world, and then New Orleans. That would be my dream 5-year rotation for the Super Bowl. Every fifth year, New Orleans guaranteed a Super Bowl. Every fifth year, Florida, either Tampa or Miami, guaranteed a Super Bowl. Every fifth year, California, LA, or San Fran guaranteed a Super Bowl. Every fifth year, the NFL team that's building a new stadium guaranteed the new Super Bowl. And then every fifth year, the Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, Phoenix rotation. Now, every fifth year, you don't have a stadium being built. So those four cities, Houston, Dallas, Atlanta, Phoenix, they can rotate, 2 of the 5 years. But every 5 years, a Super Bowl in New Orleans, I think a lot of NFL owners would like that.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeVar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Hey, are you on the Causeway right now? Beeline into the North Shore? Why don't you fire in a to-go order at Trey Yen in Mandeville? 985-626-4476. Curbside delivery. They walk it right out to your vehicle. Trey Yen in Mandeville, so good. Or you can dine in, foot of the Causeway for you North Shore folks. South Shore folks, 25 minutes from Lakeside Shopping Center, you're at Trey Yen. 25 short minutes. It's not Chinese food, it's Chinese cuisine. For over 45 years, the Wong brothers. Trey Yen in Mandeville, yummy. Just recently, I was on the North Shore, not far from Trey Yen. I mean, talk about the Woodhouse on the East Causeway approach across from the Mandeville City Hall. In between the Woodhouse and Trey Yen, they're not a sponsor or a client on the show, but they could be. I mean, I don't talk about clients and sponsors lightly. I turn down money. The other day, had a guy from one of those gambling sites like FanDuel or DraftKings or one of them. Corey, you could be making $1,000 a month. You personally promoting these sites. I'm like, I don't do sports betting. I'm not against it. I'd go down to like Caesars and go to the book and place a bet maybe, but I'm not going to sit there and promote one of these sites. You know, some company that's out of town, and it's tough. I mean, because it's money. I could be making money doing that. So I turn down clients a lot because it's not the right fit or it's a conflict of someone I'm already promoting. But a buddy of mine turned me on to that Gallagher's, 527 in Mandeville, Pat Gallagher's place. That Warren LaRousse restaurant, that crab meat St. Francis appetizer, just like LaRousse recipe, fantastic. They've got a great shish kebab over there. Not a lot of people have it. It's beef tenderloin kebab, pretty good. I'm dying to get the lamb chops, these little double cut lamb chops. I think you get 3 or 4 sizzling in butter on the plate. No, you Mandeville folks know about it, I'm sure. You North Shore folks. Pat Gallagher's 527 in Mandeville. Damn, that was good. Like worth driving across the lake for it. Love it. It's so great in New Orleans, huh? So much culture, so many great restaurants, so many great places to eat. I was telling a buddy of mine, thank God for the tourism industry and the convention industry because we kind of punch above our weight. Just look at Jefferson Parish, and I'm not dogging Jefferson Parish. How many really good restaurants are in Jefferson Parish? I mean, I go to Nephew's sometimes, the old Tony Angelo's, nephew of Tony Angelo's. It's like by the Krispy Kreme. What's that? Clearview at West Metairie, I think. About a block in. Where's another good restaurant? You got to go to Oak Oven and Harahan. I mean, it's like a restaurant desert around Nephew's. They're like the only thing. And that's like in the heart of Metairie. Within a few miles of there, you got 100,000 folks and not a lot of great places to eat. It's kind of mind-blowing, to be honest. Austin's way over on the other side. It's just there's not that's what New Orleans would be. We'd have about a dozen good restaurants. Like Jefferson Parish has like a dozen good restaurants. St. Tammany's got, about a dozen really. I'm talking like the Gallagher's, 527, like a dozen. But because of tourism and conventions, New Orleans has 100 really good restaurants. Like 100. So we're blessed. I know, discovering them, friends going that you trust. When they say, man, you need to go, you need to go. What's that, Blue Boy? The weekend's here, Tulane's off. LSU Ole Miss tomorrow night at Tiger Stadium. That's a top 10 matchup, a big one. And what? Spencer who? Spencer Rattler. You're right, Blue Boy. And then the Saints play again on Thursday night. Sean Penn homecoming. Holy smokes.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333.
Let's go.
Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.